Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel, Brian Masika Reaction. And for today's episode, let's watch about these Marco farmers in the USA. They are really crying out that Trump has what they are going through with this Trump government. So if it for the first time you are coming across my video, remember to like, share, and comment, subscribe. So let's watch till the end, and I'll come back with more comments.
And there's reports now that some farmers have 100% of their workers not showing up and they're being forced to shut down. In South Texas, they grow grapefruit, they grow oranges, lots of different citrus varieties, leafy greens, onions, potatoes, peppers. So not only are the prices of what we can get going to go up at the grocery store, but also there's going to be massive food waste. They're ready to be picked. I hope MAGA likes a diet of strictly processed foods.
So I know I was talking about, the Latino vote before. The Viva vote for Donald Trump. Okay, well, let's get on to the white folks. The white farmers. So, word is out now that the white farmers voted for Donald Trump because they thought they were going to get Black Americans in the fields. Because they also thought Black folks did not have jobs. So when we put this all together, somehow the white farmers were convinced that Black folks don't have jobs. We don't work. we don't work. And so they voted for Donald Trump because they thought, okay, he gonna send them in the fields. So Donald Trump and them, with the whole Project 2025, said, okay, so we got to make this happen. So we got to cut these DEI stuff, all this DEI stuff, to put Black Americans out of work. When in reality, they put a bunch of white folk out of work just to get Black folks out of work. And so all these cuts that are happening are to try and harm Black Americans so much till they think that we're going to go into the fields. Now, when you think about that, that makes you double back and see why they want the Latinos out. Because the Latinos, right, to them, they are reproducing entirely too fast, okay? And so they're like, we got to get them out of here because Black Americans don't reproduce as fast as the Latinos. And so if we could get them out, then the Black Americans can take their place in the field. This is for real. And so now you double back to the Black jobs. They're taking your job. Yes, you got to double back to what he said. They're taking Black jobs, y'all. Like, they have all this down. Like, they have all this whole circle. So now let's go back to the farmers if you're still with me, okay? Because the white farmers, that's what they believed was going to happen. So if y'all got all that straight, this is the message to the white farmers. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be in your fields. Don't let the devil fool you. As a matter of fact, you might want to let the devil fool you to see what's going to happen. Well, I'm trying to tell you, the last thing you ever going to want is Black Americans in your fields. Nah, I'm going to let you fill in the blank on that one. And this goes to show that they will go to any lengths. Remember I said that, first of all, we had the Latinos, some Latinos, not all of them, just them Cuban ones, talk about you're next, right? To Black Americans. So they thought we was immigrants, okay? And so now we have the white farmers who are still living in the 1700s, thinking back to glory days, quote unquote. They thought with their vote, we were going to the fields. So you got one group thinking they gonna kick us out of here, and you got another group of people thinking that we going to the fields. Now, this right here is a real mental problem because people are literally stuck. I'm telling y'all, people are stuck in the 1700s when they think about Black Americans, okay? I'm telling you, their thought process, they sit around probably campgrounds and picnics and stuff and talk about how can we make this happen? That was their heyday. I'm telling you, when that freaking plantation house burned down in Louisiana, I think, right? That was their heyday. Now, I'm trying to tell you, that was their heyday. When that plantation house down in Louisiana got torched, okay? I'm telling you, that broke them. But I just want to, you know what? I want to teach them a little bit more history if I have your attention, right? If I have your attention, right? This is some history that a lot of people don't know, okay? But y'all didn't know Black Americans had white servants? Y'all ain't know that? I mean, it wasn't widespread or anything like that, but we had white servants. Yeah, and they wanted to be our servants because they needed work. They were coming over from Europe. Yeah, and they were docile too. Yeah, they were docile. And Black Americans, the aristocrats, the wealthy ones, because there were wealthy ones, okay? They had white servants. So I don't know if y'all ever see them pictures. Let me find a picture. I couldn't find a picture. I wasn't gonna go back and try to find a picture. But if you can watch videos, you'll be able to find a picture of possibly some Black people in the horse-drawn carriages. And there may be someone white as the horseman or the coach. I'm not sure what you call them, coachman or whatever. Yeah, he worked for them. Yes, indeed. It was a big thing. It was a big, big thing, when everybody began to see in the early 1900s, what? Black Americans, they use the other word. Black Americans have white servants. Yeah, that's a bit of history they don't like to put on TV. And the reason for it is because they were like, okay, they had white people here that they could hire, and they also had Black people here that they could hire, but they felt that the white people from Europe were so docile, and they were less expensive. Now, they weren't the only ones who thought that. The wealthy white people thought that too. The wealthy white people were like, yeah, we like the docile immigrant white people. They're a lot cheaper. They take less money. Yeah, so there's a bit of history for you. Oh, yeah, it was like that. Oh, yeah, because they knew they would have to pay Black Americans a lot more. Lot more. So they always went for the immigrant. And see, when the Black Americans hired the white immigrants, they were like really, really like, yes, we will do it. Yes, we will do it. Because they want to stay in America. Here's the difference though. Black Americans didn't mistreat them. They didn't mistreat them at all. But anyway, that's just a little side note. But yeah, to the white farmers again, this is the last thing you want. The last thing you want is for Black Americans to be out in your fields. The last thing you want. Trust and believe. And next time, you know what? Stop basing your vote on how to harm Black Americans, because you're going to end up running into that wall that's going to tumble. Okay? That's what's going to end up happening. Stop doing that. All of you do it. Like, all of you. You had the conservative Asian Americans coming through with the whole Ivy League school. We don't want Black Americans there. Then you had the I will vote for Donald Trump Cubans, okay, who were thinking, okay, you're next, okay? Okay, we're not immigrants, so we're not next. And now we have the white farmer who thought that they were going to get the Black Americans in the fields. And then this is all off of Project 2025. So now look where you got America. Look where you got the United States of America. And a lot of people say, why Black Americans think everything revolves around them? No, y'all think everything revolves around us because y'all make everything revolve around us. Y'all stuff coming out.
America has never lacked labor. It just always had a very clear idea of who should be doing it. The fields, the factories, the kitchens, the care work, always someone else's job. And now, according to our Secretary of Agriculture, that job should go to Medicaid recipients. Not because they volunteered, not because it pays well, but because in the eyes of power, the poor are disposable, and poverty is now a work assignment. Recently, the Secretary of Agriculture suggested that immigrants being deported from this country will be replaced on farms by Medicaid recipients. Let that sink in. We're now saying if you are poor, you work. If you are sick, you work. If you are disabled, an elderly, or a veteran who served this country and now relies on public health care, you work. Not because it's a calling, but because your life, your value, is reduced to whether you can produce cheap labor. For food you may not even be able to afford yourself. This isn't policy, it's punishment. It's the reincarnation of an old American idea that certain people were born to serve, and if they can't serve willingly, then the government will assign them value. Let's be real here. We know who she's not imagining out there in the fields. She's not thinking of white mothers in rural Ohio. She's not thinking of Vietnam vets who've spent decades battling PTSD. She's not thinking of your grandfather on oxygen or your neighbor recovering from surgery. But when she says Medicaid recipients, she wants you to picture black or brown face, a poor person, someone else. This is not about labor. This is about lineage. This is about who America has always considered the help. And now that immigration is being restricted and borders are tightening, they're looking inward and they're asking, who's left to exploit? But here's the irony. The people they want to push into those fields are the same people who built the country in the first place, who fed America, who picked, planted, and processed without dignity, wages, or thanks. And we are not going back. This isn't just a cruel policy suggestion. It's a reflection of how far the political mind has strayed from compassion and logic. Because if they truly cared about labor shortages, they'd reform immigration, they'd raise wages, they'd offer health care, housing, and safety. But instead, they punish the poor for being poor, and they punish the sick for being sick. So the next time someone in power suggests that Medicaid recipients should work the farms, ask them, which ones? The single mothers in trailer parks? The white veterans on disability? The 74-year-old widower in Alabama? Because if you're going to assign people to the fields, don't pretend it's about fairness. Call it what it is. Modern day indentured labor, dressed up as policy. And let me be clear, we've picked enough. We've bent our backs for centuries, and we are not going back to the fields for anyone's political fantasy.
Who's mad today? Who's mad today are the people who hate to see Black Americans feel entitled to this land, feel entitled to this country because it is ours. Who's mad are the people who really, truly hate Black Americans, hate to see us coming, love to see us depicted as thugs, love to see us depicted as drug dealers and baby mamas, love to see us depicted as degenerates, hate to see us winning, hate to see us being acknowledged by the President of the United States, hate to see us being celebrated, hate to see us being established as the foundational Americans of this here country. The president knows what's up when it comes to Black Americans who have been here. Our ancestors have been here since prior to the foundation of this country, and some of y'all hate to see it. There are Black Americans who hate to see us love ourselves. Y'all really believe that there is anybody around here? Look at that. That right there, all of that belong to my parents. There are people right now in America who believe that the status of Black Americans can be removed, can be revoked. There are people in America right now, Americans, who believe that black people can be sent anywhere, black Americans can be sent anywhere. This is our country. We've been here. We've literally been here since prior to the establishment of the Constitution. And y'all believe that there are people, y'all believe that Donald Trump is so hateful and evil and maniacal. Y'all think he's the devil or something. And y'all believe that he has the power to just wipe out our history. Y'all say that. Y'all believe he has the power to just wipe out our history and put us on boats or ships or planes, I don't know, buses, I don't know how he would do it, and just send us away. Y'all believe that we are too weak to fight for what belongs to us. Y'all don't even understand we the only ones been fighting this whole time. We've not been wiped out, okay? Our population has not grown, but our population has been pretty steady, even with mass incarceration, even with the crack and cocaine epidemics, even with redlining, even with them putting projects on top of cemeteries, even with every single way these maniacal forces have tried to eliminate black Americans, we're still here. We're everywhere. We are not some figment of your imagination. We're not just sketches in a book. You don't just find us in museums. We're around and we're staying. We're literally not going anywhere. We don't die. We multiply. And this is a turning point in our history. Things are really about to change, and I'm so grateful for it. What a time to become a mother. What a time to become a mother to an amazing, beautiful black boy. I am so excited. I love it here. How about you?
When it comes to the white farmers who are losing all of their workers and are about to lose their farms, I say that's the way it was always meant to be. You were never meant to employ all of these people for little to nothing when it comes to your ancestors and be able to make a profit off of it. It was never meant to be the cool, rad thing that your family does for generations to make money. It was never honest work. It was never honorable. It was always tainted. It always involved holding people against their will to squeeze every single dime you could out of them, whether by force or by threat. It was always about that. And it was never right for this country to make that their foundation and their road to wealth. And so now that it's crumbling, we are returning to the original form of what things should have been. So there you go. I get that they work hard and some of these farms have been passed down from generation to generation. Well, for generation after generation, we've had all of the stuff that you have piled onto us passed down each and every time. I don't want anyone to suffer out here. I don't want anyone to be on the streets or lose their possessions or anything. And I don't want anyone to be exploited for their work either. I don't want anyone building off of the backs of people they deem less than human. So if you're already doing that and you lose the things that you've gained, if you're finally reaping what you sow,
I've had enough. Yeah, I've had enough of this horse shit. I don't give a shit what kind of law you make. I ain't gonna follow it. I ain't paying my taxes this year. I just don't even care. I'm not gonna be ruled by tyrants. I'm done. No taxes. I'm not following your goddamn laws that you make that are arbitrary and unconstitutional. I just ain't doing it. I've had fucking enough of your bullshit. Washington State, Oregon, California, kiss my ass. I ain't following no more laws. No more new laws that don't make no sense. Your little snitch line and all your bullshit you got going on, I'm not doing it. I'm not funding your scams and your NGOs and your fucking bullshit. Your wars, your thieving. Yeah, thieving. You loudmouth politicians that don't give a fuck about the common person. I'm done. I've had enough. I am no longer going to participate in your horse shit. And I don't give a fuck what you try to take from me. I come into this world with nothing. I'll go out with nothing. I don't give a fuck. Fuck you and fuck off. And on top of that, you best leave me the fuck alone, because you won't like the results if you come out here and try to stomp on my neck. It won't end well. I'm old. And I'm mean as fuck. Leave me alone.
We're here. We are here at the FAFO stage. This is really bad. And if you appreciate my content, please engage with this video. I'm just going to read this to you. Multiple Texas farms shut down after almost 100% of workforce vanishes overnight. In a stunningly swift overnight change, some Texas farm operations had to shut down after losing virtually all of their workforce, an exodus triggered by the increase in immigration raids and increased enforcement. The ripple effects of these raids are the gift that keeps on giving and will be felt nationwide. Unpicked crops are now left unharvested. Livestock were left untended, and rural economies are on edge. The story isn't just a tale of woe for Texas farms, it's a warning for American agribusiness. food prices, and communities that keep food on our plates. I need you to share this with every Republican you know. And you don't even need to wait for their response. They just need to know what's happening. And this is part of my line of work. I deal with commercial farmers, including these small farmers, as clients. And I cannot tell you how this is the beginning of the complete collapse of our economy under this Project 2025 administration that doesn't know what they're doing. You talk about the immediate shuttering of farms, because this is actually what's happening. With the food, with the harvests that are lying there completely rotting. That is a loss of food to local food distributors, local grocery stores, local restaurants, hospitals. They sell their harvests, all sorts of vegetables, to businesses within the state of Texas. This is where you can go into your local grocery store, and now you're going to see hardly any vegetables or fruit, depending on what they're growing, or a shortage of meat. This is what's going to happen. Now, all of the other industries that support farming, you've got local pesticide, herbicide, fertilizer suppliers that are just, their sales are going to plummet. These farmers aren't going to be purchasing that. You've got H-2A workers who are now gone, migrant workers who are now gone. They were paying taxes. Even if they didn't have social security numbers, they were given tax numbers, tax ID numbers. So now you got millions of dollars just poof, gone overnight from these Texas communities. You've got trucking companies that are hired to haul the produce from the farms to the packaging plants. You've got packaging plants who wash the vegetables, grade the vegetables, pack the vegetables, whose sales are going to plummet. Now you're going to have other industries who don't employ either migrant workers or H-2A workers who are going to have layoffs. This is all under Republican leadership, not just from the White House, but from the Republicans that were elected in the state of Texas. And if you think this is going to stop at Texas, you've got another thing coming. And you want to know which farms are going to be impacted further down the road? They're going to be safe for now. There's a small percentage of farmers who are actually Democrats. And they understand how important it is to protect their employees, take care of their employees. Those employees who feel safe will keep showing up for work because they know the owners have their backs, which says something about these other farms where the employees are like, I'm too scared to show up. Let me add this final thing. This is going to impact farmers. They're at risk of going out of business. Who's going to jump in? The federal government to compensate them with our tax dollars. So now our tax dollars is going to be used to cover the bullshit leadership of this administration on top of the overwhelming increasing tax dollars being used by this administration to scare, to deport, to imprison people with brown skin. Like, our tax dollars are not helping everyday Americans at all. And this is just the beginning under Republican leadership. Share this video.
Black farmers. Imagine how healthy we would be if we had more black farmers. Or let's pretend we have only black farmers, right? I'm talking about the way that the Midwest is going to fall apart without federal funding, specifically all of these farmers, right? But one group that's going to do well is black farmers because they never got all of these handouts. And so I am not opposed to a strategy where we do let some of these rural Midwestern towns kind of fall apart on their own doing and take that as a redistricting opportunity. But think about this. Native Americans, how much healthier would our planet be and our land be if Native Americans had more farmland, which will be one of the groups that have the cash to do so. So I don't know, it's a silver lining I'm trying to think of. I was just trying to think if I've ever known a major farm or plant to have a food recall that was black owned, and if there is, I certainly can't think of.
How stupid can you be? First off, we don't even like being outside.
Fam, what is this nonsense I'm hearing about white Midwestern farmers thinking black folks were going to come and work their goddamn fields after they mass deported all of the migrant workers? What in the fuck? They don't know us at all. They don't know any fucking thing about us. Like our own fucking parents and grandparents didn't size our asses the fuck up. Let us know everything about ourselves. Like when my grandmother looked at me at a young age and said, "Young lady, you need to keep your black ass in school and go on to college. Working outdoors is not for you." That's my fucking grandmother. She knew me. She was right. So what did I do? Stayed my ass in school. Went on off to college. And now you're looking at a 6-figure nigga. What in the fuck would I look like picking Earl's corn? Earl can kiss my ass. If he could do my black job, I wouldn't have it, now would I?
I'm in my greenhouse planting some vegetables. And I'm thinking about all these farmers that's losing the farms. All them white farmers. Not the black farmers, because we donating to them. You don't hear the black farmers crying the blues, but them white farmers, oh shit, they talking about they losing their farms now because of Trump. But they voted for Trump. But they losing their farms. Right. The black farmers, you don't hear them crying the blues, right? Here's the difference. See, they wasn't dependent on the government. When you depend on the government to take care of you, my daddy told me never depend on the government. Now see, if they cut my little Social Security check, I ain't gonna say little, but because I can use that piece of coin that I worked for. You understand? I worked 32 years for my monies, for my coins. So it's mine. But I didn't depend on the government in my retired life. You don't depend on the government. No. Anyway, back to the farmers that's losing their farms. I can't even say I feel sorry for you. But this is what I'm going to do. Look here, people. Let me tell you something. Oh, look at here. This is going to be some good eating right here. You understand what I'm saying? Look here. I just grow my own stuff. Look here. That's what I'm doing right there. Yeah. So, I ain't worried about them white farmers losing their farms. I ain't even feeling sorry because they voted for Trump. You get what you asked for. You asked for the tariffs, you got them.
Okay guys, hope you enjoyed your viewing. Hope you enjoyed the clip. So you heard it all. This mark of white farmers, they thought when they elected Donald Trump as a president, he will have kept those blacks whom they used as slavery. But what went on? It was a mess. It was a big mess for them and a big lose for them, since they were depending for these blacks to be their slavery at the farms. So the one thing you just have to bear in your mind that agricultural farming is one of the biggest economy developer in USA, is part of it. But yeah, so these farmers, they thought when they elected Donald Trump, he'll just have to keep these blacks. But what did the Trump do? The Trump betrayed them. How did he betray them? He betrayed them by deporting these blacks. So even so, the deportation is still going on. So these white farmers are just they are all counting losses, but the blacks are all about they don't care. They don't even care if they count losses, since it is their choice. You know, your vote is your choice. If you vote for someone hoping that that particular person will change your life, and then it turn out vice versa, that it is a big mess to your life, then it is up to you. It is up to you just to take care of your mistake and be answerable to your mistake. So next time you don't repeat the same mistake. So these white farmers thought that these black farmers will be useful to them, but no, these white farmers they have refused to show up. Yeah, they have really refused to show up. And you know, when you have one of economic going down, yes, the country the country will not develop. The country will definitely go down. Yeah. So these farmers, they are really in pain. They are really in hurting. That they don't have they don't have that much support in their farms. They depended on these blacks, but these blacks, they have their hands off of them. They don't want to show up, and the economy is really bad. They just crying out on Trump. They are in a big mess, very big mess. So it is up to them. They said that Trump is all about the racism. So when the deportation began, Trump said, it doesn't matter if you are born in America or if you are there by document, provided you are black in color. It doesn't care. It doesn't even care. He said that you should just go back to your country, to your motherland. So the deportation is going on. The USA government is counting a lot of laws, since one part of its big projects and one part of its development system in the agricultural system, it's depreciating day by day. They are counting losses, the vegetables, the fruits. You know, farming is a day-to-day activity that it keeps on the economy. It sharpens the economy. And when you go in this agricultural sector, the agricultural sector has got a lot of people. So you find the people who have been deported, it is a major blow to the whites, since they can't earn that money which they used to get while they harvest. When they have biggest harvests, these times they can't have those harvests in tons. They have those little harvests. So the USA government will definitely, or the USA as a country, will definitely, with the time, will go hungry, and the country will be in a lot of hunger, since there's no any food product coming out of the farms, since they are not, they have the blacks, the slavery, those black people whom they were depending on them, that they will be used as their slave, as they were using them in the past years. So these people, they have gone back to their countries. They have been deported, and there are more who are still deported. So even these black farmers, they are saying they doesn't care. Yeah, they doesn't care, since they used to tell them that Trump is a racist. They didn't hear, and they warned them about Trump, but they didn't hear. So if you are one and you didn't hear, so let you face the consequences. Yeah, people, let me know what's your take about this story, and what's your take on on the American government, and what's your take on Trump's government. Okay, on my side personally, it is so shameful. It is so shameful that you chasing people away, that people that are supposed to, people who some of them, their parents were born there, and who some of them who went there to get education, to get further education in the USA. But since Trump Trump is in the ruling, is in the government, he take advantage that is the man on power. He chased them away, he deported them. He's a big racist. But what should we do as Black American? We should have to unite. Let's go back to our homes. Let's be our homes. The knowledge we had there in the white farmers, let's use that knowledge in our farmers. Let's grow our country, and we will grow our country. Our country will be more powerful. Our country will have no hunger that like the way the USA is going right now. So that's all for now. Remember to share, subscribe, comment, and see you next time. God bless you. Love you.